right, before we start on what you should be doing this week, let's do a quick recap of last week. So most of you, just based on the fact that I can see that you are enrolled in my programming lab, it looks like most of you have gotten your book and my programming lab access. So if you haven't, then definitely get on that so you can get rolling. There's a video in here that shows how my programming lab works and how to get your e-text through there. It's really easy to do. So anyways, check that out. Hopefully you've downloaded Visual Studio and installed that, and at least the core components. Then there's a video that shows how to download basically this folder right here and extract it so you get the sample files. And by the way, if you are messing around with some of the sample files and you completely destroy something, don't forget, you can always come back here and download the files again and start fresh. So not that big a deal. And then you'll see this video in here that where we had to modify the Visual Studio install. I know, super evil to not have you do that at the beginning, but I wanted you guys to play with the modify so you can open the installer back up. And you saw in the video here that there are different ways of doing that. So adding .NET, and who knows, we may have to add a few more things. I guess we'll see. So anyway, all right. So let's look at chapter 1 as we roll through it. But you won't see those other chapters yet. So usually when I have classes that are online, I like to do mainly video content. So you'll see, like, for example, I put the PowerPoint down here from the publisher. I make a few changes to it, maybe add a few things in or whatever. But for the most part, that's, kind of standard to roll along with the chapter. There will be some things that we'll have where you'll want to refer to them, but I've found that people that take online classes usually like videos, so that's what we do. I mean, it's easy. You can pause it, rewind it, whatever. So the videos are really easy. So you'll see in here, I mean, this video obviously, and then over here you'll see that this is a video from the publisher. You'll hear from one of the authors. You'll see Kip is mainly the guy that does the videos for this particular book. If you're familiar with Tony Gaddis, he does the videos for like C++, Java, some of the others, but I think Kip is the main video guy throughout here, and he is the co-author of this book. So anyway, you'll see here that I started at page 20. So I have a little bit different layout that I'd like you to use for this particular chapter, and it doesn't really matter too much, but I think it's a little bit easier if you take a look at the book. So we have the book here, and if you look at part 1, and you've got page whatever this is going to be, page 1, right? Obviously, so we're starting out here, and it's got some basic stuff. So what I'd like you to do is kind of start out with this. If you haven't done this already, you're going to walk through some simple hardware. For most of you, this is not your first computer class or first programming class, so a lot of this is going to be review for you, and then you're going to come in here to section 1.2. So we've got programming languages, kind of walks you through some different things that you might see, and then it has some review, hopefully, of some different keywords that we'll see in here. So some different terminology that you will need to know through the videos and through the textbooks so you can understand. So anyway, so there's different things that'll walk through here. You can see we're getting to page 7, and then when you get to page 8, again, these are just different terms that you can check out. So we're getting here, and when you get to page 8 and you get to GUIs, graphical user interfaces, go ahead and stop there, and that's where I'd kind of like to have you skip ahead to page 20. And when you get to page 20, you'll see, let me just go ahead and skip down here. Here we go with page 20. Okay, so we'll come back to those other pages later, but I think it makes more sense is if you walk through the Visual Studio, like here's the first video that you'll see on there that said page 20 on it. Walk through, open these files up, and play with them so that you can, I don't know, I feel like it gives you a little bit better idea of Visual Basic before you go back. You'll get through here page 20, so keep walking through here until the end of the chapter, then go back to where the GUI stuff was, back over here. And walk through these few pages, and you're going to get to, like, for example, this video on forms, and I think the next page has one too. Yeah, so the events-driven programming, and I just feel like you have a little bit better understanding of what they're talking about in here once you've actually played with the interface and played with Visual Studio a little bit more. So you'll see those in there. You'll also notice that our textbook, if you've been paying attention or notice this, the textbook uses Visual Studio 2015 edition. We are currently using 2017. There are a few changes, but for the most part, it's the same. So all of the videos that the author made, that Kip has, will be using the older version. So there are a few things that'll be different. Most of the things you'll figure out along the way, but I figured for the first chapter I better point out a couple things. So just as an example, I put a little update on here. So for this first video, the locations has a menu option now under projects and solutions. It was a little bit different before. So in fact, let me open this real quick. So in Visual Studio, if we go to tools and options, and this is in the video, so you'll see under projects and solutions, here's the locations. And I like to customize mine. I don't use the default. I like to I make a project called My Projects, or a folder called My Projects, and keep all my files in the same folder where I have everything else for the VB class. I don't like to go jumping around to different folders, so I like having that there. So you may find that you want to do the same thing. So that's just a real simple update. Another one that is an update is just to start a new project. So it looks a hair different. So we're gonna go ahead and do this real quick. I put the little piece in here. So we'll go File, New Project, and then it's Windows Desktop. And for now, we're going to use Windows Forms App, the .NET framework. And here's where you put the name in and click OK, and it will start a new project for you. So those two things they're a little bit different in the video. So you'll see that. And then you kind of just roll through. So here the rest of the videos go. I put a little video in here called How to Use the Sample Programs because I think it'll kind of help you just getting them open, besides using an executable to actually be able to load the solutions file, walk through the project, play with things, and all that kind of stuff as you're looking at these other videos. And then when you're done, when you get done with this stuff, then you'll get back after we've been doing programming. You keep going through page 10. You'll get back up to that other section where we started back over here, and then go ahead and skip to the end on page 40, and you'll see the programming challenges at the back of the chapter. We're not actually creating programs in this. What they're asking you to do with those challenges for this chapter is basically just lay them out. So flowchart, pseudocode, setting them up so that you can see, these are the things I'll need. These are what my variable names will be, all that kind of stuff. So for now, for all we're going to do for this chapter is just, I'd like you to check out this video. So solving the sales tax problem. The problem itself, the problem statement is, I think it's number 3 in the back of the chapter. Let's just because now I'm curious. Let's go look real quick. Challenges. And yeah, here we go. So sales tax. So here we go with the video note in here. So take a look at this. They're going to ask you to just kind of walk through and set this up, not actually create the program, but you'll kind of see, the thought process and what is needed. Okay. So and when you're all done with that, then the last thing that you have to do is just go to my programming lab and do the activities for chapter 1. So after you've watched the video for how it works, and you'll see kind of how that goes, and then that'll be it for chapter 1. So this chapter is all about just getting you started, getting you to play around with Visual Studio a little bit, getting the Visual Basic stuff set up, and make sure that when you're watching these videos that you are making the changes that Kip asked you to do, because it will make a difference in the things that you see. When you see my interface, it may look a little different if you're not making those kind of changes, and it's things that will make it easier for you, it's just good stuff. So go ahead and do that. All right. So if you have any questions, email me and just let me know. All right. Thanks and have fun.